But first, a flaky pastry with a royal pedigree.
Ah, sweet, sweet baklava. Rich layers of homemade pastry coated with nuts and sweet syrup. It's no wonder this much-loved dessert was originally baked for a Turkish prince.
It all happened inside the infamous kitchens of the Topkapi Palace, where thin sheets of phyllo dough were first developed throughout the 16th century.
The Turks might claim its origins, but at Ars Bakery in Toronto, Ontario, they've been producing a Lebanese version called Kohlskor for over a decade. And plant manager Sabina considers it the best baklava around.
For me, my favorite baklava is Lebanese baklava. It is a very light baklava which just complements the roasted nuts inside.
If that doesn't persuade you, Kohlskor is Lebanese for eat and be happy.
Words to live by.
It begins with the best pistachios in town. These small green nuts might seem shy, but break through their shell and you'll find loads of heart-healthy vitamins. Egazarian inspects each pistachio, removing any remaining shells or subpar nuts.
And nothing gets past her watchful hawk eyes.
That's good pistachio.
Only the best go through a grinder, where they're chopped into tiny pieces of nutty goodness.
The pistachios are ready to meet their doughy partner, so let's get started on the phyllo pastry. In goes flour, ghee. Ghee is a type of clarified butter, which is popular in South Asian cuisine for its nutty taste, and a dash of salt. Finally, water is added to the mix.
The dough is kneaded for 10 minutes until nice and smooth. One batch will produce 5,000 pieces of baklava.
When ready, it's transferred to a bowl and wheeled over to the kitchen. Here, it's portioned into chunks and rolled, and yep, you guessed it, rolled once more. Then it's cut and manually flattened into perfectly sized rounds.
A laminator rolls them into thin discs, roughly the size of a dinner plate.
Now that's my kind of meal plan.
They're stacked, wrapped, and relocated to the icebox where they'll rest for 1 hour.
Time's up. The phyllo is restacked 18 discs high and dusted with cornstarch.
We add cornstarch between each layer to prevent the sticking of the layers together, to be able to have different layers after the baking step.
That's because all 18 discs are sent through another, larger laminator all at once.
With the push of a button, the dough is transformed into paper-thin sheets of phyllo pastry.
Back and forth like a game of table tennis.
Game, set, match.
The sheets are then spun onto a rolling pin, making it easier to unravel them later. Now we're on a roll.
Let's add the pistachios. The phyllo layers are rolled onto a large counter where the nuts are spread from edge to edge.
Ibrahim rolls the edge of the dough onto itself and uses a round form cutter to cut each piece.
And just like humans, baklava comes in all shapes and sizes, but it takes teamwork to make them this fast.
In baklava, you best friend. Simplify.
Aw, you're my best friend too, Colleen.
Oh, thanks, Todd. But I bet we couldn't work this fast. The pieces are lined up on a baking tray.
And they're ready for the oven. But not before Jacqueline showers them with warm ghee.
Stop gawking at the ghee. Let's keep this moving.
Okay.
They bake in a rotating oven at 175 degrees Celsius for approximately 50 minutes or until golden brown.
When we take our baklava out of the oven, we lift the piece up and see if the base is baked, if all the layers are baked through. If the top is looking golden brown and crispy, then we're very happy.
Hey, it's not hard to be happy when the smell of roasted nuts and buttery pastry fills the kitchen.
But there's one more step before they're ready for packaging, and it's a sticky one. Hot, fragrant, sugary syrup. First, water is poured into a kettle, along with sugar. And a splash of rose water and orange blossom for good measure.
We add the rose water and the orange blossom water for the flavor, for the taste, for the smell. It is very a distinct ingredient in the Middle Eastern kitchen.
The syrup is heated in an open kettle until the sugar is dissolved and caramelized. Then it's ready to be drizzled over the hot baklava.
Ibrahim showers the tray with a thick coat of sweet syrup.
From here, the pieces cool for 2 hours and are transferred to the packaging line.
3 round baklavas are packed into a gourmet variety tray, along with 8 other pieces. Each piece is hand-placed to preserve the pastry's delicate nature.
Now, it's not a true baklava without a little sprinkling of ground pistachios to top it off. And the trays are sealed with a plastic cover and hand-labeled.
They're packed 11 to a box and stored in a warehouse as they await same-day shipping. So, Sabina, what's it like biting into Kohl score baklava?
When you bite into it, the different layers of filo dough crunch in your mouth. You need to hear the sound of it.
Sounds good to me. A flaky treat worthy of a king, which you can enjoy in your very own palace.